Hi everybody, Carl Kunz with Exit Blue Water Realty. So today's video is going to be about the pre-approval process, and I didn't mention this before. It's really the first and probably most important step when you're looking to buy a home. The pre-approval process is when you contact a lender and go through the preliminary steps of being pre-approved for a home loan. This is important for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that it allows you a more accurate budget as far as what price range to look for in a house. It prevents issues where you're perhaps looking at homes that are out of your price range and you fall in love with a house that you really can't afford, and then everything you look at from that point on is maybe a disappointment. On the other side, if you can afford more home than you think, you can perhaps bump your budget up and look at something that is a little larger, perhaps in a little bit of a nicer neighborhood. So it's very important to know where you're at as far as what to look for. There's a difference between pre-qualification and pre-approval. Those words are sometimes used interchangeably, but they're really not the same thing. The difference is pre-approval, you've actually gone through a lot of the preliminary steps that a lender is going to require you to go through to get the loan in the first place. They're going to run your credit, they're going to request income tax forms for the last couple of years to verify your income, ask for current pay stubs, things like that. And these are things you would normally have to send in for the loan process anyway. Pre-qualification, for the most part, is entirely verbal. So if you were to call the lender up, they're going to ask you some questions over the phone, but their information and their determination as to whether you pre-qualify is going to be based entirely upon what you're telling them. So if you were to tell them, for example, you're a professional athlete and your salary is $5 million a year, that's the information they're going to go off, even if it isn't accurate. And since the number one reason for homes falling out of escrow is because of issues with funding and lending, obviously it's important that you get it right the first time. The last reason it's important is that when you're writing an offer, a pre-approval from a good lender will tell the seller and the seller's agent that this is a legitimate, serious buyer. They've already gone through a lot of the steps they need to do as far as making sure the loan is viable and that they qualify for it. And it just puts you in a better position to perhaps have your offer accepted, which is important in a market where it's a seller's market. The way to get pre-approved is you can contact a lender or a bank if you've dealt with them in the past that you're comfortable with. If not, your agent probably has some lenders that they can recommend. And most agents will tell you the only thing they're concerned about as far as a lender is whether or not it has the best rates and terms for you as a client, whether or not the communication is there so that they have questions, or if any issues arise, they can get a hold of somebody quickly and not have to call a cubicle farm halfway across the country and leave voicemails repeatedly hoping somebody calls back, and that the lender can actually perform and close on time to make sure you get your house. As always, if you have any further questions, feel free to contact me. My name is Carl Kunze. You can reach me at area code 951-973-3677, or contact anybody here at our Exit Blue Water office in Canyon Lake. We'd love to help you out. Hope to speak with you soon. Have a good day.